Hello, I'm Andrew Pritchard, and thank you for watching today's Northeast Regional Forecast, brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. So check in with the jet stream here on Friday morning. Happy Friday and a wonderful start to your weekend, I hope. We're looking at troughing overall across the Northeast region. This has persisted, keeping us a bit cooler here. And again, it is going to keep us cooler for at least the next week or so. As we look at the future here, taking it out to about Monday, still looking at troughing over the Northeast region as this ridge begins to expand over the western two-thirds of the country, allowing some heat to kind of build back into that region, or at least bring it back to a little bit closer to normal. So we look at the next 10 days, your temperature forecast here in terms of an anomaly. So the red shades, obviously the warmer areas, the blue shades, where we're looking at temperatures a bit cooler than average. As we focus in on the Northeast region here, maybe a bit closer to normal here across the south. This again where we're starting to see the ridge kind of expand in this area, allowing heat certainly over the western two-thirds of the country to kind of rebound there. But as we talk about the Corn Belt, it's been rather chilly there as well compared to seasonal norms, and that's where we're going to see things coming back to normal here. And that does include southern portions of the Northeast region here, maybe parts of Pennsylvania, although cooler off to the north. As we look at the five days that follow that here, September 4th through the 8th, really going to be looking at a reinforcing shot of some cooler air coming into a big chunk of the eastern United States. The precipitation forecast here, this from the GFS ensemble here for the next 2 weeks. We'll focus on the week 1 time frame here, but it does look like it'll remain at least a little bit on the active side here across the Northeast region. The last 24 hours of precipitation, we've seen a lot of thunderstorm activity across the central U.S. We saw some showers and storms across parts of the Great Lakes. And we've seen a frontal boundary moving through parts of the Northeast region here, bringing some rain showers and perhaps a thunderstorm to far eastern portions of the Northeast region here. And we'll be looking for a little bit more of that activity as we head through the weekend. Checking in with the satellite picture here on Friday morning. Got a bit of a glitch there, I apologize. But again, here's this big area of thunderstorms across the central U.S. And here's the frontal boundary right now that's going to be bringing scattered showers and storms to the Northeast region as we head into the next 24 to 48 hours. Now underneath those clouds, we'll look at the radar picture here. And again, here's that big cluster of thunderstorms, that MCS, traveling across the central United States. Here's the frontal boundary pushing into the Northeast region with just some scattered showers along it right now. Do we anticipate rain to become a little bit more widespread along that as we head into the afternoon today? Zooming in on that MCS across the Central Plains just really quick, I just wanted to point out again, as you look at this, you can see that counterclockwise swirl within there. These thunderstorm clusters, at times can develop their own areas of low pressure here. And even as this rain begins to dissipate, as these thunderstorms lose their oomph through the early morning hours, that little counterclockwise swirl, that area of low pressure, can persist through the day and can generate a new area of showers and storms as we head into, again, the later part of the afternoon. We get instability building along that. So that could bring showers and storms to parts of Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana, parts of the Ohio River Valley as we head into the later parts of today and tonight. Of course, that outside the Northeast region, but just a good opportunity for a little lesson there on what we call an MCV, a mesoscale convective vortex. One of those kind of remnant areas of low pressure, compact little areas of low pressure left over by widespread thunderstorms the day before. So we look at the frontal boundary picture here Friday morning, again watching this front just kind of stalled out across the region, and this front's not going anywhere anytime fast. As we get into the day on Sunday, the frontal boundary still kind of stalled out here just to the south of the Northeast region. We've got high pressure just to the north here, or across the just to the north of the frontal boundary, but sitting across the Northeast region. But again, with this boundary in the area, we'll keep at least isolated chances for rain and thunderstorms in parts of the Northeast region here as we head through the weekend. The severe weather forecast here, not much to talk about across the Northeast region. A general risk for some thunderstorms, showers and storms is what I was going to say there, along that frontal boundary here for the day on Friday. We've got Saturday on the bottom left and Sunday on the bottom right. Again, just keeping the general risk for thunderstorms in the vicinity of at least the southern portions of the Northeast region here through the weekend. Now, the high-resolution rapid refresh model, this takes us through the day on Friday and into the early part of Saturday. We'll take it on back here. Again, here's the cluster of storms across the Northeast. Here's your frontal boundary, though. We'll focus on the Northeast region, take the drawings off here. And as we head into the afternoon, just watching for scattered showers, maybe a couple thunderstorms along that frontal boundary as it moves through. No real widespread precipitation expected from that, though. As we head into the day on Saturday, pretty quiet as we get into Saturday morning across the Northeast region. The high-resolution NAM model will take us just out a little bit further. Go ahead and pause it here on Friday afternoon. Again, watching that frontal boundary. You see it right here making its way through on Friday afternoon. Clears the area by Friday night, and then on the day on Saturday, expecting things to be pretty quiet across the northeast region. Since we get into the day on Sunday now, making maybe watching for another area of thunderstorms to develop across parts of Pennsylvania, parts of New York State. The rain threat going to be heaviest off to the south of that general line here as we get into the day on Sunday. Off to the bottom there, I know you're noticing it there. There is Dorian, and we'll be talking about that as it impacts the southeast region here over the next week or so. Looking at the total accumulated precipitation then from the high-resolution NAM model as you focus in on the northeast region, really just light coverage here as that frontal boundary makes its way through, and then watching for maybe some heavier precipitation off to the south as we get to the back half of the weekend. We're going to go ahead and jump past this as it pertains a little bit more to areas to the west, and I don't want to run too long, but taking a look at where we're going again, here's this big trough right now that's keeping us a bit cooler, keeping the rain in the forecast here, bringing that front through the region. As we go ahead and just play this out, we'll bring it back to Friday and take a look at where we're going. As we head into the beginning of next week, here's Monday. Again, watching this broad ridge kind of set up, that allows some warmth to build back into the eastern two-thirds of the country. But if you focus in on the northeast, we're still kind of feeling the impacts from this trough here with northwest flow. And so that, again, is going to keep us from warming up too much across the northeast as we head into next week. On the back side of that, as we get into Wednesday and Thursday, watching another trough kind of rotate through the area, bringing a reinforcing shot of some cooler air back to the Corn Belt, back to the northeast region as we get into the end of next week. The precipitation forecast here, let's go ahead, we'll do the same thing and kind of jump back, watching for the widespread storms across the central plains here as we get started on Friday. Here goes your frontal boundary. This is a bit of a messy picture, but I'll kind of break it down for you after we get beyond this. Getting into Sunday now, watching for, again, this is when we could see maybe some more widespread rain showers and storms making their way through the northeast region here as we get into late Sunday and then Monday. Quieting down early next week, but then another front comes sweeping through as we get into the middle part of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then perhaps lingering into early Thursday morning across the northeast region. But then here is where high pressure sets back up, bringing quiet conditions and cooler conditions back to the northeast region as we get into the end of next week and early next weekend. That, of course, we're going to be getting into some uncertainty. We'll be watching for Dorian and its potential impacts here. I'm going to stop it here before anyone gets any ideas about where this may be going based on this one model run. But just to let you know that as we get into probably the 7 to 10 day time frame, I'm going to be looking at some low confidence with some of our model guidance as it tries to sort out Dorian. Here we'll look at day by day 24-hour precipitation forecast here, so you can kind of see day by day where our rain chances are the best. For the day on Friday, again, very light coverage, isolated rain showers, maybe a thunderstorm, quiet Saturday. Sunday, that chance for more widespread rain across at least Pennsylvania, New York State, eastern portions or western portions of the northeast region. Same thing on Monday, bringing that chance for showers and storms. We should quiet out for at least 24 to 48 hours as we get into Tuesday and perhaps Wednesday for some folks, but really looking at late Wednesday into Thursday for that sweeping front to come through the region, bringing showers and storms back in. High pressure takes over as we get into the end of next week, Thursday and Friday. Perhaps quiet all the way into the weekend, but again, wild card Dorian looms out there. Your total accumulated precipitation forecast then from the GFS, keeping things widely scattered, a broad brush here of maybe half an inch to an inch and a half for the people on the high end there who end up under some of these thunderstorms. The ensemble forecast kind of keeps it, smooths it out just a bit, but showing you pretty even coverage expected across the northeast region, or at least equal chances for some of these showers and storms perhaps to drop around an inch, give or take a little bit there across the northeast region. Same thing from the national blended model. This, of course, takes many of our models here and kind of blends it into one picture, gives you kind of a smoothed out but consensus idea. And again, kind of watching this region for the most significant precipitation as we go through the next week or so, unless you want to exclude Dorian down there to the southeast. Obviously, the rain winner here over the next week. Our temperature forecast here, looking at temperatures in terms of an anomaly. So the red shading going to be where we are warmer, the blue and green shading where things are a bit cooler. As we head through the next week, we'll go ahead and we'll bring it back to Friday here. We're right about average, but watching for some cooler air to come in on the backside of this front here over the weekend. So cooler heading through the weekend, returning to closer to normal as we head into the early part of next week. Maybe some warmth in advance of this next storm system. We get warm air advection in advance of these areas of low pressure cold air advection on the backside. So you can almost draw in the center of low pressure kind of somewhere in here, a little frontal boundary. We got warm air advection from the south on the leading edge, cold air advection on the backside. That brings in the shot of cooler air as we get into the middle to later part of next week. Here you go, bringing that cooler air back into the northeast region for the end of next week. Your high temperature forecast then for the next 5 days, mid 70s to the lower 80s for the day on Friday. A bit cooler on Saturday, some upper 60s across the north. Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday again, warming up, warm air advection on the leading edge of that next storm system. High temperatures in the middle 80s to the lower 70s off to the north. As always, Eric Snodgrass will have an in-depth look at the evolution of the next 1 to 2 weeks in our Monday morning ag forecast video. And I'll have your next check-in with the Northeast region here for you on Tuesday morning. Have a great day and a wonderful weekend.